Okay, ISG went and bust recently, and they were a £2 billion turnover business. A couple of days later, they were like, oh, they've gone down owing 200 million. Mm-hmm. A week later, they've gone to 300 million. Mm-hmm. And we don't know where the number is now, and we don't know where it's going to get to until 6-9 months' time. Yeah. The point is, a contractor goes bump, the person or people who make the real losses are down here.
Welcome back to ProBuild 360 TV, and welcome back to the Onsite Podcast. My guest today is Sandeep Sunner from the Construction Consultants and the Material Consultants. Sandeep, why don't you tell us a bit about the services that the Construction Consultants provide? We've got the website up here.
Thanks for the invitation today, Michael. As you say, I'm one of the co-founders of the Construction Consultants, and very recently the formation of our sister company of the Materials Consultants. Mm-hmm. So the Construction Consultants derived out of what was a well-established company called DBK. So when that buyout happened, that was the point where myself and Alex left and set up on our own for the single reason of filling a gap in that middle market.
Yeah. So you wanted to split off and have some of that homegrown, mid-range knowledge and experience consolidated into what is now the Construction Consultants.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what DBK were doing is a fantastic, great business, lovely people, and it was a manageable business. Yeah. Whereas, you know, in our view, we never wanted to work for a big PLC, big large organisation, because the simple reason is you become a number. Yeah. And hence why we went off and set up on our own. So services are multidisciplinary. So we've got project management, quantity surveying, employees agent, building surveying, and health and safety.
So tell me a bit about that then. Let's go into the technical stuff, because that's what our viewers, our audience will be wanting to get from this conversation will be what in that technical side, like what is it that you're delivering? Where's that value?
Okay, so from our point of view, being multidis with so many different roles I just described, we could have a client who's looking to put a bid in for a site, so needs some cost advice from a build point of view, including input into buildability. So we had a client who's looking at doing a deal on a piece of land in Birmingham, gave us the details, architect's done an initial sketch plan. It's literally just a sketch plan, and looked and asked us for some initial advice on what it's likely to cost him to build out. And we had the conversation about what he's got in his appraisal, because surely he's done something. And he had a figure in which to me looked really low. I said, look, it seems low, but send it over, let me have a look. And when we looked at it, two of us spent 10 minutes having a look at it, and we kind of put down our thoughts, brainstorm really about what we thought the problem was.
I've done one of those this morning myself.
Yeah, and interestingly, is probably one of the most complicated sites I've seen. It was a triangle piece of land stuck between a railway line, which was actually higher than the site, with an adjoining property owner, which is right next to it.
So you're going to have shoring up of difference in levels. Yeah, and then you have sheet piling and all kinds of things.
Yeah, and party wall issues. Network rail are notoriously difficult to work with.
We're doing a site at the minute that's got a shared access for a national grid substation, like a big one. And it's like 24-hour, 365 day a year access requirement, so you can never block it. You can't even park a van in there for 10 minutes and offload something. So I
had a discussion yesterday with a supplier. So it's a supplier, but they also do their own in-house SAP calculations and SPEMs. The regulations changed in 21 and they came into force in 22 for Part L. But I've physically not seen this, because a lot of those schemes were on the old regs, so they've completed or completing. But for any SAP or SPEM, you've got to keep a full data log of site. So they've got to have a site-based evidence that the energy assessor will have to record on their end. On the external walls, for example, you got to get to 0.18 So that build up, you'll have designed, and then that'll go into the calculator, and it'll come through and say, this is what's approved.
Yeah.
Now, prior to 21 change, you'd get a design, SAP or SBEM done, and then you get one at the end, and the evidence in between will be generally based on a contractor to say, we've complied with
what the design specification was.
Absolutely. And now what they're doing is saying, no, that energy assessor needs to record all of this. So as a main contractor, you'll be sending evidence to say, here's our logs for the external wall insulation to demonstrate that it's all been installed correctly, pinned back properly. There's no gaps or anything. And then the energy assessor will have all that logged down as a record just to demonstrate. It's just another tool to demonstrate that things are being done properly. Which, unfortunately, we've gone through a long time in our industry where corners have been cut and buildings haven't been built properly.
I was just looking at some of the projects that you've got up on here. Are there any in particular that you are particularly proud of? Anything you want to bring up to have a look at as a bit of a case study?
To be fair, we're proud of all of them because they've all got their own uniqueness.
I'm looking at some of these here. What's the Crown Works in Birmingham?
So that was a 203 unit BTR project. That were literally
built to rent.
Built to rent. Just finishing off now, with some commercial spaces. So we were employers, agents, and quantity surveyors on that project. And we've been on that project since 2020. And that was built.
That's a lovely project.
Yeah, it was built during COVID, and ground construction with the main contractor on it, and it was a difficult project.
Go on. What were the challenges?
Challenges was COVID. So when we started, they were in the ground. We had a whole raft of ground remediation work to be done, and then COVID hit. So that was issue number one. Issue number two, which was for Graham, unfortunately, was the hyperinflation on the materials that we went through in 2022. So
we can see right there.
Look
at that.
God, wow.
That's from the .gov website. So
that really does paint a picture, doesn't it?
It really does.
So when we started on that project, to think what the main contractor who signed a fixed price contract with the client had gone through
in late 2020.
And navigated through that, and now getting towards the end of completion, it's been very, very tough. But look, it's a great project, great location, and it'll be a game changer for the area because it adjoins Volume Properties student accommodation block. So that whole area between Lower Lovedale Street, Summer Lane, and Hanley Street. It's complete. Complete new build, and that will hopefully be the sort of starting point for everything around.
The catalyst for more regeneration. Definitely.
What we looked at, and I know you guys are very similar. We're always thriving to look outside the box and what can we do differently. Hence how you guys have got so many facets to your group. So similar to that, we've taken on a couple of contractors' QSs. So rather than looking at costs top down, which is how we're trained generally, we've got contractors' QSs that have come to help us look bottom up. And we have a direct link with subcontractors. So if we're tendering out a complicated scheme, we'll go out and get a couple of subcontractor
on the big ticket items.
Tenders, M&E's a big one. That's always 25-35% of the job.
Works.
Well, generally what we'll do is we'll do M&E, maybe do frame, and then maybe windows and doors and roof. Because between those four, you probably got a good 40-45% of the job.
At least you got the envelope of the building.
Absolutely, and then we'll put that in for information only. So A does a check on our cost plan. And B, it helps the tendering contractors know that we've already spoken to a couple of suppliers. And they've got a helping hand. Because contractors are squeezed for time always, aren't they? So we've done that. That's one thing. And the second thing we've done is opened a materials consultancy. And that is something that is quite unique in our world, because now we're going into a level of detail that we don't usually go anywhere near.
Yeah.
We rely on designers to do what they do.
Yeah.
We'll look at that, and generally value engineering is, okay, you look at a product and think, can I get something that looks similar, gives the same performance,
Yeah.
but at a lower cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can. And there's only certain things we know. But now we've got this business set up on the TMC side. We'll refer to our colleagues and they'll give us intricate review and feedback to a level that, you know, we're learning ourselves.
Yeah.
So we had a residential project. It's quite a large scheme.
Yeah.
There was 34 houses.
Yeah.
And the construction drawings were done with cavities that were 353 mil
Wall
cavity.
build-up.
Yeah, wall build up. So you had the 100 mil block,
100 mil.
and this 150 mil cavity was full fill. And the guys looked at it. First thing that they immediately said was, get rid of manufacturer A, replace with manufacturer B. Cost of it is virtually the same.
Yeah.
But we'll bring the cavity down.
It's a better quality of product.
Better quality product, smaller.
That was able to achieve a U value
Of
that
milk.
allowed the 150 mil cavity to be brought down to 100 mil
100 mil,
cavity.
yeah.
Thereby reducing the footprint of the buildings themselves.
Yeah, so what that did was it gave a 50 mil increase on the gross internal floor area.
Yeah.
Which
So-
helps the developer get a better sales value.
Yeah.
But also make a saving on lintel costs.
Yeah. Lintel costs.
Wall
Yeah.
ties.
Yes, wall ties.
So and then all the other ancillary bits that are connected to that. So from our point of view, we're sitting with the client up here. So if you look at it as a vertical bar right the way down, you'll get us with the client, the main contractor, then subcontractor, and then some of these subcontractors are breaking it down into even smaller subcontractors.
Yeah.
So by the time they get the material, we're so far down the line.
Yeah.
A brick down here that actually costs 85p to buy.
Yeah.
By the time he gets up here, because you've got cost upon cost, you're probably at 135, 140,
Yeah.
which is fine because that's how the UK models, you know, generally set up with design and build particularly. But when we're so far away, every communication we have to go through a main contractor who speaks to a subcontractor, speaks to a supplier or manufacturer,
Distributor,
and then comes back up.
Yeah.
And that time's too long.
Yeah.
So now we've got the facility of making a single phone call,
Yeah.
and we'll get the answer straight away.
Yeah.
We feel it's a game changer for what we're doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're making some suggestions to our developer clients where they can do certain buying themselves and let the main contractor and the subcontractors have free issue of products.
Yeah.
I say free issue to them.
Yeah, client
but
supply.
the client pays them.
Yeah, client,
And,
yeah.
and in doing so, you're taking away the cost upon cost, which I know the supply chain is not going to like, but it's a safer bet
it
for them
shouldn't
as
be
well.
about the supply chain.
Yeah.
It should, like an industry can't be built on having a supply chain with 50 different nodes,
Yeah.
so that everyone gets to skim something on it. It should be about getting the most efficient supply chain possible.
Yeah. But the trouble is the way we're set up. It's very much design and build. Push all the risk to a contractor. Let them deal with it.
Yeah.
Now, when someone goes bust, okay, ISG went and bust recently, and they were a £2 billion turnover business.
Yeah.
A couple of days later, they were like, oh, they've gone down owing 200 million. A week later, they've gone to 300 million. And we don't know where the number is now, and we don't know where it's going to get to until 6-9 months' time.
Yeah.
The point is, a contractor goes bump, the person or people who make the real losses are down here.
Oh yeah, well, I mean,
know-
ISG. I think there was something like a couple of thousand of people, going to be out of the job.
Yeah, I can't remember the number of people there, but it was a huge company.
Yeah,
Top
huge.
10 in the UK.
Yeah.
But, when you look at that, isn't it safer for a subcontractor to actually say, okay, well, we'll do this job on labour and plant only.
Yeah, with a healthy margin.
Yeah, it works for everyone. No risk for them carrying the material cost. Let the developer pay.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's we're going through a bit of an education on that, and funders don't like it or developers don't like it. It adds another layer of complexity for them.
Yeah, well, complexity and risk and management and just human resource and work to administrative resources and so on. I'll throw you one last question at you. What's your prognosis for the industry? What do you think? How do you think the industry's going health wise, and what we're going to be looking at over the next 5-10 years? You think it's going to be picking up, happy times, or you think it's going to be?
I'm a internal optimist, so I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Because I think some projections are that interest base rate will keep falling a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation's now, thereabouts, back down to 2%, which is where we need it to be.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at.
Yeah, we've got as we said right at the start, we've got a clear shortage of housing.
Yeah.
And with housing, you get all the other sectors going along as well.
Yeah.
BTR's a big one.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge market to be filled, and now the council are understanding it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got co-living in certain cities that are is going to thrive to try and make up the 1.5 million shortage of homes we've got.
Yeah.
So
there's enough demand.
Yeah, I think
we can get the supply right, get the skills in place.
Yeah.
And I would tend to agree with you.
Yeah, so I do think we need a bit more of a push at schools and to let people know how good our industry is, and there's so many different parts of the industry you can join.
Yeah.
Whether it's trade, as you said earlier, whether it's professional side, whether it's the creative side, or whether it's at the manufacturing level. Yeah. There's so much, isn't there?
Yeah. Innovation.
Yeah, and IT now, AI, huge part to play. Yeah.
Modern methods of construction, modular, import, export, supply chain.
It's all there. Yeah, there's so much.
It's all there for the taking. But yeah. Well, listen, Sandeep, appreciate it. Thank you for a great conversation.
No problem at all. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Have an update soon.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, wonderful.
Cheers.
Thank you.